Hi, everybody. I'm Kevin Falvey. I'm editor-in-chief of Boating Magazine, and I'm joined today with Watersports editor Garrett Cortese. And we have two great interviewees today. Jens Bering, who's vice president of marine sales for Volvo Penta of the Americas, coming to us from Chesapeake, Virginia. And also Dave Brown, who is director of marine sales, Volvo Penta of the Americas, coming to us also from Chesapeake, Virginia. Gentlemen, welcome to Boating Roundtable.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Garrett.
It's an auspicious occasion because this point in time marks the 5th anniversary, as we understand it, the 5th year for Volvo Penta's forward drive. Is that correct?
You're spot on, Kevin.
Tell us about forward drive. Tell us about the birth of forward drive and bring us up to speed. How's it doing in the marketplace today?
Thank you. You know what, I think like many good projects, it started actually with a round table just like this, and a lot of napkin scratches and so on. And, looking at the marketplace, by that time, right, we saw that there was definitely a clear trend in the market, with this whole wake surfing and following those boats and so on. So that, of course, spawned, how can we participate in that particular marketplace? But we wanted to put a different spin on it. We wanted to put a spin on it, with some of the technology that we are really good at, being dual props and a stern drive. And as you know, we have a very successful propulsion system called IPS. And, so that's, of course, really where our mind went, said, hey, how can we, be more versatile and then, create something using, some of our existing technology, but turn it around. And that's really how we came up as such, with a forward drive. There's, of course, a little bit more black magic to it, but it was a fun journey.
For viewers who don't understand or may not understand, why do you need to have, or why is it desirable to have the propeller facing forward when you're wake surfing? Maybe Garrett, you want to answer this question, or gentlemen from Volvo Penta?
Well, from a water sports standpoint, it makes a stern drive that much more accessible and safe. You've moved the propellers forward, so they're no longer, rear of the boat, but they are facing forward and then tucked underneath more of the boat, just like an inboards propeller. And that makes an activity like wake surfing that much safer.
So remind us, how close behind the boat when you're wake surfing are you?
Anywhere from 3 feet to 15 feet, depending on how far back in the wave you want to get. But you can get right up in there and be talking to your buddies and waving. And it's obviously a lot of fun. And what Volvo Penta's forward drive has done in the last 5 years has really opened up that marketplace and that ability for people with stern drive boats or an affinity towards stern drive boats that want that versatility to then be able to go out and wake surf with their friends and family.
Jens, Dave, was that kind of the impetus? Did you ever imagine it would become so popular for a variety of purposes?
No, definitely not, Kevin, so the versatility that we are now bringing to the market, will not just a stern drive, but, you're really getting everything in one, right? You're getting a conventional stern drive, and then you can also have the typical water sport fun, because, when you are out, on any given day, right, perhaps you just don't want to cruise around. You also want to have some water sport fun activities, and you can now do that, with your whole family. You can bring the grandkids along. You can just go for maybe a afternoon cruise or an evening cruise, right? But so that versatility is, I think, really key to some of the success that we have had now with the forward drive. And obviously the way it works is that, it gives you the ability to now trim the drive down, to basically suck the stern deeper into the water, and of course still use ballast tanks if you choose to, so you can sculpture a decent wake really for the surfing, so.
Well, we've never used the word sculpture to describe the wake. Garrett, in the next wake boat, we've got to use that word sculpture, because that is exactly
I'll borrow that adjective.
So that is what we do, right? We create wakes, to really create a really good surfable, wake, and that is the beauty really behind, I think, this sport is that, like you mentioned, Garrett, you're so close to the transom, and it's such a social sport that you're so close and you're not on a rope, and it's at relatively slow speed. So to get injured is much less. You're less prone to get injured.
You have to work hard to get injured wake surfing.
Yes, you do.
You're falling in water at 11 miles an hour is actually pretty fun.
Indeed, yeah.
Now, to add to that a little bit from that aspect in regards to the advantages of why you'd use a stern drive in this wake surf type activity, one of the big things that we get from the stern drive and how we have that forward drive facing is we actually eliminate the station wagoning effect that you actually see a lot of time on traditional towboats. So there's a really nice feature for while you're surfing. You're not sucking in the emissions at the same time frame, along with the ability with, in operations where I'm using it throughout the day and maybe I need to get out of the way because the rain's coming or something like that. The stern drive can go back to its normal propulsion. The boat operates at the functionality that's needed to get up on plane and move quickly. A lot of traditional towboats, they move relatively slow. So I have the ability to get up on plane and go and get out of the way if I need to.
Stern drives are faster and more efficient generally.
That's correct.
Than power and size, generally speaking. Volvo Penta has long been a leader in technology. I mean, let's face it. First with the stern drive, right, with the Aquamatic drive. Yep. First with the double prop drive, dual prop. First with IPS. Stop me if I'm missing something. Forward drive, certainly an innovation. What technology is embedded in forward drive besides, forward-facing props and contra-rotating propellers, which you've established yourselves in? Are there any other technologies that consumers should be aware of with forward drive?
So I think really what is important to maximize the forward drive experience, and of course also wake surfing, is that you want to have a complete system. And I think that's, to sort of build off what we are really good at Volvo Penta, is to give you a helm to prop experience. It stays in the same family, it stays under the same warranty. But with that, we bring a water sport control into the picture, and the water sport control interacts really with the surfer. So you set up your own surf profile, and that way you again sculpture the exact wake, the exact speed that you like to surf at, and and that's that interface. That is so important, and you can do that up to multiple users. So it all takes on its own shape, and again, that's delivered also by Volvo Penta. So so some of the many little tricks and features that we learned along the way when we got into this.
And it really does. I can speak to it. I've used it, testing a variety of forward drive boats, and it really helps simplify the user process. Being able to add a profile for not just yourself, but for other friends and family makes it that much easier when you get out on the water. And it's a big advantage for consumers to be able to have that as they get more and more advanced with wake surfing. Like, okay, I know what speed I really want, and I know that I want my wave shaped a little bit more like this. And so to be able to save that profile and push the button and have it set up for you automatically is a big bonus. Are there any other new technologies that you guys have been working on or adding to in the forward drive setup?
With Silent Shift, it's something that's unique to Volvo Penta across our whole platform. And what that is basically we eliminated what's traditionally heard in boating today when you're maneuvering in close proximity to other boats or shifting in and out of gear. You would typically hear what's called a clunk. It's a cone clutch system. We have now eliminated that with our new disc system. And what that does is basically provides silent shifting and more enhanced maneuver experience with the operator. So I have the ability when I'm going in and out of tight spaces, I'm not hearing the boat shifting in and out of gear. And so it's really enhancing the boating experience for the customer that's out there on the water. Nice, quiet, silent shifting.
That certainly is a nice thing to hear, or not hear.
Or not hear.
Yeah, it's really not here, right? Because everyone goes, is that good for the drive? And over time, that silent shift, we've actually put about 5,000 of these out there already today, and has had great success with it, and a lot of really good feedback from customers, really enjoying the enhancements they're getting from shifting in and out of gear.
That's excellent. Let's ask a question now, maybe somewhat confrontational, but we don't mean it as such. We want to help really place forward drive for our audience members And if they're torn between purchasing let's call it a dedicated towboat, an inboard V-drive water sports boat, or a boat powered by Volvo Penta's forward drive, how do you distinguish which drive system would be most applicable? How do you make that distinction?
Oh, that is a good question, Kevin. And I think again it really comes down to how do you intend to use the product? There are definitely a lot of hardcore, wake surfers out there, and you can go buy a purpose-built wake surf boat, and they are very, very good, right? They are have many years of perfecting this particular sport. Or if you are someone again that likes the versatility, like we talked about before, where you can have high speed, and you can have quick turning, fun accelerating, maneuverability, and so on. And still you can tow the boat around from lake to lake, and enjoy a variety of fun. Cruising, beaching, even fishing, right? Sunbathing, if you will, just from that point of view, a regular, bow rider. You get that whole picture now, certainly with the forward drive. So again, that's why we look at the versatility. But our builders our partners has become extremely good at creating these boats where they are very, very good at creating a fantastic wake. And I think, it takes a little bit of time, right, before the flywheel gets going. You gain momentum, and our builders are today, I think, surprisingly how good they are at executing a good wake.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I would add to what Jens was basically stating in regards to the comparison between the boats, it's really the biggest thing to take away is the style of boat that's being used for our wake surf, right? So we have the ability in our forward drive system is because we have the ability to use this boat for other things. So if the weather gets bad, if you have a more versatile boat, it can typically handle those wakes and or waves in different sea states better than a traditional purpose-built towboat.
Okay.
So that's one of the biggest things you get from this is, and Jens highlighted about it, versatility, right? I can trim it up, beach the boat if I want. I'm a little bit more concerned if I'm in a purpose-built towboat to beach. I have a shaft that's underneath. I have some major concerns there. The ability that you can do with forward drive really helps you to enhance and utilize that boat for a variety of different things. Cruise at night. Hey, I want to go cruise and get everyone on the boat, use it for this. But during the day, for an hour or two, I want to be able to build a good wake. I can do that as well.
Those are some great points, Dave. So,
yeah, well, I would just add, Kevin, that for people that are, maybe considering one or the other, and with a V drive, with a traditional water sports V drive, you really are you're in a range of 20 foot to 25 foot, let's say, of V drive, and those boats are built specific to do that. With forward drive, you can find models from a wide variety of manufacturers that cover everything from, you can find a 19, 20 foot, forward drive surf boat up to if you want a boat that has a head, or a boat that has, maybe you want a sink on your boat, or maybe you prefer the, some of the rear lounge styles with a clear walkthrough to the transom of the boat.
Water sports boats, they don't cater to those layout plans.
No, I think there's one water sports boat on the market where you can option a head for it. I don't know of any that have a sink. I just can't recall of any. And so there is more variety out there in the forward drive market. And so if you are one of those families or buyers that's looking for a boat that might do a little bit more, like they're both saying about cruising or beaching or grilling, even to use the bathroom, there's options out there. And then what the forward drive allows you to do is flick that switch, enter your profile, and go surf and have some fun.
That's why it's a watersport credit.
Not to mention, I think a thing that very good points altogether. Garrett. One thing that is important, of course, is that the responsiveness with the duoprop, and that onboard comfort now, but also the fuel economy. There is nothing that really beats a stern drive and a duoprop when it comes to fuel consumption, of course, and that also has to do with emissions, of course.
Can you tip your cards? Is there anything new coming from Volvo Penta that boaters can look forward to in the coming year? If not, that's fine too. I know this question is out of order. But,
Kevin, you know us, right? That's why we're having this conversation, So yes, always stay tuned. We're not done pulling tricks out of our sleeve, I hope, So yes, we always continue, to find new ways, and I think new technology, to benefit the users, to have more fun out in the water. But I think with that, then I can turn it over to David, and maybe he can talk about the contest.
Well, yeah, and to add what Jens was basically stating is, obviously we're always innovating, and we also have a lot of key partners that innovate with us. So we have a variety of boats that are on the water. We already have about 50 models that are out there, and we're seeing more and more adoption of forward drive in that application. So I would say look forward to seeing what the years to come with the different style of boats that would actually have forward drive in the future. We just know of last year, we have a wake tune boat that's out there. So we have a pontoon boat that's now surfing.
Yes.
Something different.
Yeah.
That's definitely different. Dave and Jens, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. For Boating Roundtable with Garrett Cortese, I'm Kevin Falvey. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.